travel vlogs just don't seem to stop because we are in Vancouver this episode. A month after I got back from Korea, my friends and I road tripped to Vancouver for a short getaway.
갑자기, because I didn't know she was awake. She was like this.
The vlog starts the morning of our first full day in town, and per usual, I'll narrate in mostly present tense.
Wait, it's so hard.
We bought some mangosteen at the Asian grocery store last night, and after struggling a bit, we got him open with a coffee stir stick.
Let's see, and one more. Were you treated? Actually, I don't mind. I don't really want to open this. I came out and it looked like a crime scene.
Life has been hectic for all of us, so it's been a long time since we got to do a trip together. We're just gonna take our days nice and slow and eat a lot of good food while we're here.
And didn't you want to do BBQ twice? Should we do it today and then once before we leave?
Oh lord.
No, it's okay.
No, you wanted it.
Well, depends on how much you guys want it. So,
Is it?
yeah. Because I'm gonna fly out on Saturday.
Ironically, Anne convinced me to go to the hotel gym with her, so quick treadmill session before we head out for brunch.
I think after this I can eat.
Yes.
Down? Oh shit. Do you think it's just gonna open again?
You have to like walk so far.
The path to the gym at this hotel was so confusing, I would have been lost if Anne hadn't stayed at this hotel before.
Oh my gosh. How far is this place? Oh my gosh.
Anne is a seasoned runner, while I, on the other hand, am very out of shape lately. After a short workout, we all got ready and headed out for our first full day of Vancouver adventures. Anne's family is from Macau, and she doesn't get to eat her hometown foods very often in Portland, so our first meal is brunch at Hong Kong Flavor Restaurant.
火腿加薯仔餅，跟住加個 A 餐嘅菠蘿包。What is this?
Diane got the pineapple bun platter, and Anne and I got the traditional Hong Kongese brunch noodle soups.
Thanks, Mom.
Oh yeah, that was perfect.
Anne shares a lot of Chinese foods with us, but it's extra special to get a taste of her childhood.
맛있어?
Try it. Oh no, just eat. It's okay, try it.
Don't forget your pouchy. On the drive up from Portland, we were hit with an unfortunate rock chip.
Windshield wiper?
We thought that maybe covering the head of the crack would help slow it down, so that's what we've been doing. And hey, I think it's actually working because the crack hasn't been growing that much since.
Sunshine Market. This looks like that one corner on Hawthorne.
Yes!
With Little Big Burger.
Oh wait, never mind.
Yeah, it's like Little Big Burger on the corner. That's what it looked like.
With bellies full, we are finally heading into downtown Vancouver. Our hotel is in Richmond.
I love it. This reminds you of the Ross Island Bridge.
Oh no, this is better.
For sure. Yeah.
I don't know what it is about Vancouver, but I love the whole atmosphere of this city. For our first stop, we're gonna get coffee in Gastown. I know the locals don't really like Gastown. I mean, it's probably how I feel about the current state of downtown Portland. Kinda dirty, kinda touristy, not a ton to do here, but as a frequent visitor to Vancouver, I always make a stop here. This coffee shop carries beans from Fritz, which is Korean. Perfect because I just ran out of the bag I brought back from Korea.
Actually, don't accept cash. Oh, okay.
Ever since my first trip to Japan in 2019, I've wanted a Cafe Kitsuné tote bag. And after exercising self-control all those years, my enabler friends convinced me to pull the plug and make the splurge, so here we are. staff said that there are only a handful of these specific totes in all of Canada. If she was trying to make me feel better about the splurge, it definitely worked. She even steamed it for me and packaged it all nicely in this super cute Maison Kitsuné bag.
So cute.
My closest friends know that I am a sucker for good branding, but even more specifically, Fox branded things. It's now 3 p.m. and we are starting to get hungry, but I totally forgot that all the restaurants in this area take a midday break. Saku is closed and so is Sura, and we are all starting to get hangry. Luckily, Diane spotted a jjajangmyeon place while we were in the car and they are still open for business.
This is the sign I saw.
Yeah, this is on the right.
Right. I actually heard good things about this place, I think.
Jjajangmyeon is a deliciously savory noodle with Korean black bean sauce, but it doesn't taste anything like the black beans that we eat in the West.
So good.
The dish is adapted from a traditionally Chinese dish, so in Korea we consider this Chinese food, but the Chinese consider it Korean.
Where's your
Classic Anne. You can always tell what she ate on a given day just by looking at her shirt.
You got it. Just rub it one more time. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. We need to balance out all the eating with some movement, so we are going to bike around Stanley Park. But biking is too much work, so naturally e-bikes.
If you just sit on it?
If you just sit on it,
Okay. Are they all fully charged?
yes,
Oh,
that'll
okay.
charge.
If you don't do this, you have to pedal?
Yeah.
Of course, as soon as we paid for the e-bikes, it started to rain out of nowhere. We tried to wait it out, but the forecast kept extending the expected time of the rain, so we just went for it. But none of us were prepared for the rain at all, especially me in my light overshirt. It started raining harder and getting colder, so we fled for cover. Now, none of us are gifted in the field of dancing, but Diane and Anne really wanted to recreate a TikTok. So while we're waiting for the rain to stop, we practiced and recorded it under this shelter. Of course, the footage only exists on our phones. It's for our eyes only, so I'm sorry to leave you hanging.
We love you, Canada. Even though you're raining, like
And cold.
가자.
He would be so proud. Yeah.
The rain finally stopped, but our rental time and our parking time were coming to a close, so we did a short lap near the entrance of Stanley Park and then rode back to the shop. There were some other minor events that occurred between the bikes and dinner, but I didn't film them, so fast forward. For dinner, we are checking out Zoomak, a Korean pub in Gastown.
Thank you.
It was recommended to me by some locals I met on my last trip to Vancouver, and they were fellow Asians who happened to go to culinary school, so I knew I could trust their taste
I'm
buds.
gonna take one piece that's not gonna look like a ticket.
You better take the radish, bro.
Calm down.
We each got a drink, and I have to say they are so delicious. Zoomak's Oksan Fizz is so good, it honestly might be one of my favorite cocktails I've ever tried. I always go for more sweet and tart drinks like whiskey sours, so this one was right up my alley. Anyways, I really wasn't planning on making this a 2-part vlog, but there is a lot of content for day 2 and 3, and the video is just gonna get way too long if I don't split it up. So we'll end day 1 of Vancouver here, and I'll be back with part 2 next week. So thanks again for watching, especially those of you who have been here consistently, and let's see each other again in part 2.
잘 먹어.